Deep work, the hidden power of focus in a distracted world. Inspired by the wisdom of Cal Newport, in a world that never stops talking, thinking deeply has become an act of rebellion. You live surrounded by noise, endless notifications, messages, deadlines, distractions that pull you in 1,000 directions. Your attention is sliced, your thoughts scattered, your time consumed. And yet, somewhere inside, a quiet part of you longs for depth. It knows that greatness is born not from multitasking, but from mastery, not from being everywhere, but from being fully here. This is the message of deep work, a call to return to the sacred art of focus. Cal Newport doesn't just teach productivity, he teaches presence. He reminds you that your mind is not a machine made for noise, but a garden made for creation. Deep work is the ability to focus without distraction on something that truly matters, to give your full energy to one thing, until it becomes an expression of your highest self. Most people never experience it anymore. They live in a state of shallow attention, constantly switching between tasks, scrolling, reacting, performing, never creating anything of depth, never feeling the peace that comes from total absorption. But when you enter deep work, something miraculous happens. Time slows, the noise fades, you disappear into what you are doing, and in that stillness, you rediscover who you are. Deep work is not just about producing, it is about becoming. To do deep work is to resist a culture of distraction. It is to reclaim your attention, the most precious resource of all. In a distracted world, focus is a superpower. It separates the creators from the consumers, the leaders from the followers, the fulfilled from the exhausted. You cannot live deeply if you are always distracted. Every ping, every buzz, every moment of digital noise steals a fragment of your soul. You begin to confuse motion with meaning. You feel busy but empty, connected but lost. Newport invites you to step out of that trance. And remember that depth, not speed, leads to excellence. Deep work is not about working harder. It's about working holier. It's about honoring your attention as sacred energy and choosing to use it intentionally. To cultivate depth, you must first embrace solitude. Solitude is not isolation. It is communion with your own clarity. It is the silence in which ideas are born, the stillness where truth whispers. When you give yourself to one task, fully, completely, your mind enters a state of flow. Effort transforms into ease, and work becomes meditation. You are no longer doing the work. The work is doing you. This is where your best ideas arise, where your potential is revealed. Deep work is not something you do. It is something you become. It's the meeting point between discipline and devotion. But depth requires sacrifice. To go deep, you must go against the grain of the shallow world. You must learn to say no to interruptions, to meaningless obligations, to digital noise. You must learn to create boundaries, not as restrictions, but as gates to freedom. To work deeply, you must be willing to be alone with your thoughts, to sit in stillness long enough for brilliance to emerge. The world rewards those who shout, but it remembers those who create. Every great work of art, invention, and wisdom came from someone who dared to go deep. When you practice deep work, you train your attention like a muscle. You strengthen your ability to resist distraction, to concentrate on what truly matters. And in that focused silence, your life begins to take shape. The secret, Newport says, is to build systems that protect your focus. Schedule deep work like an appointment with your soul. Set rituals that signal to your mind, now we enter sacred space. Turn off the noise, clear the desk, breathe, and begin. Even 2 or 3 hours of deep focus can accomplish more than entire days of distraction. And as you practice, your capacity grows. You begin to find beauty in the discipline. You begin to crave silence over noise, depth over distraction, creation over consumption. You become less reactive and more deliberate, less overwhelmed, more awake. Because deep work doesn't just change what you make, it changes who you are while making it. There is a quiet joy in doing one thing with your whole being. You start to see that depth is not about complexity, but about presence. It's not about more, it's about meaning. When you give your full attention to something, you transform it, and it transforms you. This is the essence of deep work, a life lived with clarity, intention, and craftsmanship. When you live deeply, you stop chasing the endless noise of achievement and begin creating from peace. You realize that success is not in doing everything. It is in doing what matters, with your whole soul. In a shallow world, the person who can focus, truly focus, will always stand apart. Your mind is the instrument of your destiny. Learn to play it consciously. Withdraw from the noise. Guard your attention and pour your whole being into the work that gives your life meaning. Because deep work is not a method. It is a movement, a quiet revolution of presence in a world drowning in distraction. When you learn to live deeply, you don't just work differently. You live differently. You think clearly. You love fully. You create freely. And in that sacred focus, you awaken the still power within you that the world has forgotten.